The lights went out. Total darkness swallowed the station. Screams echoed. Creatures with obsidian eyes moved through the halls, hunting by vibration, heat, and fear. But they hadn't counted on humanity adapted to the dark. And when the prey smiled, the hunters became the hunted. The emergency lights died with a sound like breaking glass. Total darkness swallowed Station Meridian in one hungry gulp. Keira heard the screams first, panicked voices echoing through the research corridors, people stumbling over equipment, running blind. She stood perfectly still in the observation deck, listening to footsteps scatter in every direction. "Everyone freeze," Royce transmitted through the comm network, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Do not move. Do not run." The screaming continued for another 10 seconds. But then something else joined the chorus. A wet, clicking sound, like mandibles working in the dark. It came from everywhere at once. Keira felt someone grab her arm. Dax pulled her close, his breath warm against her ear. "They think we are prey." "I know," she whispered back. The clicking grew louder, closer. Something massive moved through the main corridor, its weight making the floor plates groan. These things had been circling the station for 3 days, studying them through the reinforced windows, watching with those clusters of obsidian eyes. Waiting. Now they had made their move. "Royce," Keira spoke into her comm, keeping her voice steady. "You seeing this? Thermal imaging is down. They killed the backup generators, too." A pause. "These things planned this." Dax laughed softly in the darkness. And the sound made Keira smile despite everything. Because Royce was wrong about one thing. The creatures had not planned for everything. "Light discipline protocol," Keira transmitted to the 47 survivors scattered throughout the station. "No flashlights, no glow sticks. Stay in the dark." "Are you insane?" someone shouted back. "We cannot see anything." "Exactly," Keira replied. She heard the clicking things moving faster now, gaining confidence. They had evolved on a world without a sun, in caves where darkness was absolute and permanent. Their other senses compensated. They hunted by vibration, by heat signatures, by the electromagnetic fields generated by terrified nervous systems. They had cut the lights to create their perfect hunting ground. Well, what they did not know was that 40% of the crew were from the outer colonies, from worlds where humanity had adapted to low-light environments over 6 generations, where children grew up hunting in tunnels and learning to see in spectrums the creatures could not imagine. Keira activated her genetic markers. She felt the familiar burn as her pupils dilated beyond normal human capacity, drinking in every photon of ambient radiation. The darkness resolved into shapes, gray silhouettes, shadow and depth. Beside her, Dax grinned. His eyes had already shifted, reflecting invisible light like a predator in the jungle. "Royce," Keira transmitted. "Time to hunt." "Copy that. All colonial-born personnel engage markers. Everyone else find cover and stay quiet." Keira pulled the ceramic blade from her thigh sheath. Metal would reflect heat. Ceramic stayed cold. The first creature emerged from the medical bay, 3 meters tall, all segmented limbs and serrated edges. It moved with horrible grace, mandibles tasting the air. Searching. It passed within 2 meters of her position, never saw her at all. Keira moved, silent, precise. The blade found the gap between thorax and abdomen, sliding through chitinous armor like it was paper. The creature made a sound like steam escaping, collapsed without fighting back. It had never known she was there. Through the comm network, she heard similar sounds. Wet thuds, sharp intakes of breath that cut off suddenly. The clicking grew frantic, confused. The hunters had become the hunted. "They are retreating," Dax reported. His voice carried the edge of adrenaline and something darker. Something primal. "They're heading for the airlocks." "Let them run," Royce ordered. "We hold position and wait for daylight." But Keira was already moving deeper into the station, following the heat signatures that bloomed in her enhanced vision like flowers of dying warmth. She found the nest in cargo hold 7. 20 creatures huddled together, their confidence shattered. They had come to this station expecting easy prey, soft targets that would scatter and die in the darkness they controlled. Instead, they had walked into an ambush. One of them spotted her. Its eyes widened with something that might have been recognition or terror. Keira smiled in the dark. "You made a mistake," she said softly. "You assumed we feared the darkness." The creature lunged. She stepped aside, blade moving in a perfect arc. Another one fell. Then another. And by the time Royce and the others arrived, it was over. The emergency lights flickered back on, revealing what had happened in the dark. Dax helped Keira to her feet. "You hurt?" "No." She wiped the blade clean. "Just tired." Royce surveyed the cargo hold. 47 survivors. 23 confirmed kills. The remaining creatures had fled into the void. "They will come back," someone said. Keira shook her head. "No, they will not." Because the creatures would carry a story back to whatever darkness they called home. A warning about the station where the prey smiled in the dark, where cutting the lights only made them stronger, where humanity hunted. Royce placed a hand on her shoulder. "Get some rest. We have cleanup in the morning." Keira nodded but knew she would not sleep. Not yet. She kept thinking about those eyes in the dark. The moment when the hunter realized it had become prey. That moment when fear changed sides. What would you have done in total darkness? Share your survival strategy in the comments, and do not forget to subscribe for more stories where humanity refuses to be the victim.